you see that? So it says, Jesus said to her, "Oh woman." He didn't say, "Oh dog." Right? He said, "Oh woman."
Oh, so who was the dogs earlier?
No.
Who were the dogs earlier? Did you see that?
Ask me a question.
Did you see that?
You're doing a magic trick.
Yes. Okay, so Jesus said to the woman, "Oh woman, great is your faith." He didn't mention Jews, Gentiles, nothing. He only commanded her for her faith. But the moral of this story, if you wanted to put a moral, is he healed her daughter. Why? Because he praised her for her faith.
Of course he did. After calling her a dog.
So fine.
فتعالى الله الملك الحق ولا تعجل بالقرآن من قبل أن يقضى إليك وحيه وقل رب زدني علما.
In the original language, will I be able to understand what it really meant?
In the original language?
Yes,
you will.
Okay, if I read it in today's English, would I be able to have the full meaning of what it meant?
Depends. I mean, if you are if you're reading a Quran translation, which is accurately translated the Arabic into English, then yes, you will.
Okay, so you're
with
saying
the context,
to me,
because there are tafsirs, there is exegesis, which give you the references, which gives you the context of the verses, then you will, yes.
Exactly, okay. So what you just said to me was that you're trying, I will be reading it, please don't interrupt.
Yeah.
So what I was saying to you is that you're trying to understand the Bible, not understanding the original text. So that therefore you are implying, by your own words, that Jesus meant that he only came to the household of Israel, and that's all he said. And that's what I'm trying to show you right now.
Do not put words in my mouth. I did not say that is all he said. I said based on that verse I read, he says it very clearly, very explicitly that he only came for the Lordship of Israel. For you to add those words that is all he said, that is
an emphasis.
That is
only means only.
in that context, yes. In that context, yes.
So I'm not putting any words in your mouth. I'm just quoting you.
No, you did not. You added to it. You said that is all he means.
So let me.
Okay, show me where he says he's coming.
The point that we're trying to get to right here. Yes. The point that we're trying to get right here is the fact of racism. That was the whole point, yeah?
That was the initial point.
Okay,
yes.
that was the initial point. So let's not deviate from that point. Okay.
Because calling dogs, first you have to show us calling dogs at that time was okay. Because what that he said was out of desperation. It wasn't something that the Gentiles accepted. Show me anywhere in the Bibles where the Gentiles were okay for being called dogs or swines 2,000 years ago.
Look, how can I tell you whether the people 2,000 years ago... Can you please stop interrupting?
But you interrupted.
I'm having a conversation.
Yeah, okay, he'll manage.
So, how can I possibly tell you whether or not the people 2,000 years ago in different countries that were not Israel were okay or not?
Not different countries, just that, in that context.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. So, how can I tell you that 2,000 years ago, the people that were not Israelites were not okay with them being called whatever?
Isn't that the claim you made?
I'm asking you.
No,
how can I know?
I'll tell you how. You made the claim that at that time, 2,000 years ago, they did not find it offensive. Did you not say that?
No. What I said was...
Did you not say that?
That's what he said.
It's on camera.
Okay, what I said
Making
to
a
you...
U-turn now, are you?
No, I'm not. If you allow me to explain. What I said to you is that for the Israelites... What I said to you was that for Israel...
Stay here, bro, stay here. This is more interesting, trust me.
What I said to you was that for the Israelites, anybody else that was not an Israelite was considered to be impure. You are the one that's saying that by Jesus calling the woman a pig, or whatever, a dog, or whatever other term, that was derogative. That's what you said.
Is it not?
Is that what you said?
What I said was this, because earlier, don't tell me how, do not control how I should respond.
No, I'm asking you.
No, I will respond, if you ask me, I'll respond the way I want.
Okay, you said that what Jesus was saying to the woman was derogative.
Yes.
Right? And what I explained to you is that for the Jews back 2,000 years ago, anybody that was not a Jew was considered unclean.
No, but we're not talking about unclean.
Okay.
We're talking about the term
That's
dog.
what I said. Okay?
Yes, we're talking about the term dog.
It was unclean.
Yes.
And you are the one that is bringing the terminology of dog.
Yes.
I said
actually, no, it's in there. Not me bringing it in.
Absolutely. You're bringing it based on the text.
What do you mean I'm bringing?
You're bringing the
Is it in the text or not?
In the text.
Is the term dogs in the text or not?
says.
Thank you.
And that's what we're trying to
Don't say I'm
discuss.
bringing it.
And well,
Yes.
you are bringing it because you are saying it. So it is in the text.
Seriously, man.
And I am saying to you that the woman did not get offended.
How do you know that?
Because,
How do you know that?
Because the text says so.
Does the text say she
Now,
wasn't offended?
In your logic, you're saying, but if I was a man and I went to the hospital and the doctor did not, that is out of desperation.
No, no.
That's your understanding.
That's called context.
But the
That's
text
called
doesn't
context.
say that. The text
Well,
doesn't say that.
you know what? The text doesn't say that she didn't get offended.
No, neither does he say that she got
So why are you
offended.
saying she didn't get offended then? If the text
The
doesn't
text
say.
doesn't say. The text
But
says
then why
that
are you
she
saying that?
accepted.
Okay.
Okay.
Now
She
you see,
accepted.
based on the text, we know that she was desperate.
Yes, she
Yes?
was desperate. Yes.
When she knew that the only person who could save her life
Uh-huh.
was Jesus.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not saying something out of desperation, I'm saying based on the context of what we read. So your allegation that I'm saying it out of desperation is utterly false.
Okay, let's use your own idea about when you go to hospital, you're bleeding to death,
Yeah.
and the doctor must help you, right? In this country, if you are not legally living here, you should not receive medical help. Am I correct?
By the way, if you listen to my analogy,
No.
my analogy was based on 2,000 years ago, not today. NHS, this country.
You said if you were to go to hospital today, that's what you said.
No, I said
So-
2000. I said very clearly.
Okay, so-
because maybe you were not listening.
So,
But anyway, look.
I am listening because you shout.
The point.
You shout and I can hear you very loud.
The point I was making.
Please don't interrupt. Please
Yeah,
don't interrupt.
yeah. By the way,
Please don't
wait.
interrupt.
Your voice is loud when you talk.
Okay.
Yes, just as loud as mine.
Please don't interrupt.
No, I will interrupt when you put his word. The word
That's fine. I can handle it.
No, I'm sorry.
Brother,
I'm sorry.
Habibi,
You
Habibi.
lost argument already.
Habibi,
He's
Malish,
not-
Malish, yalla.
He's not getting offended by my argument with him. Please
Okay.
don't interrupt because
So-
the argument is not with you.
Unless you can provide us evidence from the Bible
Yes.
or from anywhere where you're saying that it is 2,000 years ago, the Gentiles.
Okay, are you
Can I
telling
finish
me-
my question?
Are you telling me that the text that you're reading is not 2,000 years old? It is.
No. You have to show me where they were not offended because there's no explicit mention there.
She says even the dogs eat out the crumbs.
Desperation, remember?
Okay, that's what you think, but that's
You
not
don't
what
think
the
it's
Bible-
desperation?
The Bible doesn't say the woman in her desperation
No.
said that.
Based on that, do you not think it's desperation? Based on the context.
The woman was in need, right?
In desperate need.
Okay, according to your understanding.
Did she get on her knees?
If
did she get on her
if She
knees?
got on her knees, maybe. Shall we take the text?
Do you think people get on their knees out of just fun or it is out of desperation?
She was in need.
Okay, you
She
know
was
what?
in need.
I
Now,
think
let me
it's.
ask you- let me ask a
you know-
question in the same context. Now you
No.
said she knew that he was the only one who could help her. Is that correct?
He was the only one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why was he the only one who could help her?
Because at that time, maybe she saw him do miracles and
Okay.
helping people.
So he was a miracle maker.
Yes.
He was helping people.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was a good man.
He was a good man,
He was a
yes.
Messiah. We as a Muslim, I
what?
believe the Messiah.
He was the Messiah.
Yes.
Not a Messiah, but the Messiah.
Yeah, the Messiah, no problem.
Oh,
As a
okay.
Muslim, I believe all that, by the way. Are you
Okay,
aware of that?
Yeah, I'm aware
Good.
of that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you see, what the important thing here is to learn is this: that even if the Jewish people, even if they call the Gentiles as unclean, dirty, dogs, swine, whatever it is, the point remains: Jesus was there to impart good morals. Yes.
Yes.
If anyone in their right mind thinks it is a good moral to call a needy woman, a woman in need, a woman in desperately in need, if it is okay to call her a dog, then really you have to check the morality.
Okay, so you just told
Even
me
2,000 years ago.
Okay, that's fine. You just told me that Jesus was a good man. Okay,
Yeah.
which is against what you just said. So a good man cannot be immoral, right?
No.
Okay, now
Let me-
allow me
Okay, good.
allow me to give
I'll
you
respond to that.
my opinion. Okay,
I'll respond to
you
that.
just said that Jesus was a good man.
Yeah.
Right.
Based
you
on
said
Islam,
that he
yeah.
was a prophet.
Based on Islam.
Okay, and you not only said that he was a prophet, you said that he was the Messiah.
Based on Islam
Okay,
again.
So if he was a good man,
Yeah.
he was a prophet,
Yeah.
and he was the Messiah, was he immoral?
Okay, can I respond?
Of course.
Okay. First and foremost, I said all those things that as a Muslim I believe. I believe
Okay.
Jesus is not only a good man, he was one of the mightiest messengers of God. He
Okay.
was a prophet of God. He was the Messiah, yes, which the
Okay.
Jewish people reject and the
Okay.
Muslims and the Christians accept. And Jesus he did many miracles, yes?
Many miracles, yes.
And he was a righteous man, no doubt about it.
Okay.
The reason
Okay.
I feel offended that my Jesus, my Isa alayhi salam, is portrayed as an immoral person, calling a needy woman a dog, yes, is what I object to. Now do you understand?
Okay, but you haven't answered my question.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Which
What
part
you-
did I not answer?
Well, the question was very simple.
What?
Are you saying that a man who's righteous, do you know the definition of righteousness? no.
I think only
immoral
you have a
fact.
comprehension hearing or something.
No,
I said
do.
based on Islam.
I do.
You missed the important bit. Based on Islam.
You just accepted that
You won't
Jesus
listen.
was a
I think it's
righteous
close to his
man.
mind now.
Jesus was a righteous man.
Based on Islam.
Okay.
Carry on.
He was a good man.
Based on Islam.
He was a prophet.
Based on Islam.
Okay. He was the Messiah.
Based on Islam.
Yet you call Jesus immoral.
Based on the Bible. You know this guy doesn't understand. I have to repeat it like 5 times to make him understand. Look, I think you have a comprehension problem with what I just said there.
I am not calling Jesus immoral. You are calling Jesus immoral.
But why am I calling him immoral? Based on how he's portrayed in the Bible.
And
The
what I'm
Quran.
saying to
Wait.
What I'm saying to you is that you cannot justify Jesus' terminology 2,000 years ago with your mentality of 2017.
I can. I'll tell
No,
you why.
you cannot.
Shall I tell you why?
Inside the Bible.
Shall I tell you why? Because unless, look, you can take that point with you if you show me evidence from the Bible that the Gentile people did not get offended by being called dogs or swines.
Give me your address or your email address and I'll send you the information.
No problem. I'll give you my email address. Okay, but right now you don't have the information. Do you?
I can send it to you.
Okay, and you can make sure it's from the Bible, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
That the the Gentile people did not have a problem being called dogs and swines.
Okay.
So you say in Islam, Alhamdulillah, in the Quran, Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, both of them have been given high praise and high respect in the Quran. They are not portrayed as racist as it is in the Bible. No, Jesus did not call anyone a dog.
You were the one that raised the topic about Jesus being a racist.
Based on the Bible.
No, but that's
Why don't you understand that?
That's your argument.
Yeah, based on the Bible.
My argument is Jesus was not immoral. Jesus was righteous. Jesus was the Messiah, and Jesus finally helped the woman.
Yes.
Okay.
But you missed the part about the dogs.
So the Bible is wrong.
No, I didn't miss the
Yes,
part
you did.
about that. What I'm saying to you is that 2,000 years ago, anybody that was not part of the people of Israel
Yeah.
was considered impure.
By whom? By God or by the people?
By the people.
So
of
it was a
Israel.
cultural thing, yes?
Yes, of course.
So
it
you
was.
think this cultural racism is accepted 2,000 years ago?
No, you are.
It just gets worse every time.
No. What you're not understanding is that the term that you use today,
Dogs and
is
swines.
racist.
Yeah.
Is racist. Is your understanding of the 20th century? Back in the day, the Israelites would see themselves as the people of God, and everybody else was not part of the people of God.
You know what you remind me of?
There is no racism.
Yeah.
There is no immorality.
Do you know-
There is help to the woman.
Yeah.
Jesus finally helped the woman because he was a good man, because he was not just a prophet, because he was the only one who could help her.
Yeah.
He performed a miracle for her.
You know
Right?
something?
And
Yeah.
he said to the woman,
Yeah.
go because your faith has been answered. Your prayer has been answered.
By the way, did she become a Jew by heart at that time?
The Bible doesn't say that.
No, but what would you say? Because based on your earlier definition of a Jew, do you think she became a Jew by heart?
No, the text doesn't say that.
But she-
I
but-
cannot,
but you
I
said-
cannot imagine
But,
something that
but
is
if
not in the
Jesus
text.
told her, you are, what did he tell her? You are a?
A dog.
No, after he healed her, what did he tell her?
Well, let's read the text.
Please do.
Let's read the text. So you were the one that quoted it. Where is it?
doesn't know where it is.
It's in Matthew 15. No, that's
You
fine.
know
That's
where
fine.
it is?
That's fine. Matthew 15, verse 20.
Okay. That's probably one of the only verses that you guys know about. Okay. Which one is it?
Start reading verse 24.
Okay.
22.
Are you judging me by my memory?
Stick to him anyway.
Exactly. Don't interrupt.
My friend, verse Matthew 15, 22
Matthew
until
15,
27.
Okay.
Very
22.
agitated, aren't you?
Habibi,
How are
Habibi.
you?
It's okay.
I'm cool. My blood
Okay.
pressure is cool.
Sorry, what was your name again?
You're talking about.
What is
you're
your
talking about. It doesn't matter. What are we talking about?
My name is
Matthew
Hashim, by the
15?
way.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I wish you could share your name as well.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Matthew 15 what?
22 until 27.
Okay. 22, and behold, a Canaanite woman from that region.
Yeah.
What region? Canaan.
Yeah. Carry
Came
on.
out and cried, "Have mercy on me, O Lord." She was calling him Lord.
Yeah.
Son of David.
By the way, Lord there means master. You know that.
Yes, I do.
Go on.
My daughter is severely possessed by a demon. But
And
he
suffering
did,
terribly. You don't have that?
but he did not answer
No,
her
it's a
a
different.
word.
Which version is that?
Well, the version that your
Okay,
friend
okay. That's fine. That's fine.
kindly lent
There
me.
might be a bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, carry on.
So it says, but
Jesus did not answer a word,
He
yeah.
did not answer her a word.
Yeah.
But his disciples came and begged him, saying, so the woman is begging him, his disciples are begging him, saying, send her away, for she's crying after us. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and knelt before him, saying, Lord, help me. And he answered, it is not fair, that's the word fair, it's not fair to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs. Now, he didn't call her directly, you are a dog. He said, in an analogy, it's not good to take the bread of the children and cast it to the dogs. So that was an analogy. That was not Jesus personally calling her a dog.
Of course, even if he called her dog, she won't become a dog.
No,
It was always supposed to be an analogy of the
Exactly.
children who are pure and
Exactly.
the dogs who are impure.
So
it's
your
a
argument,
cultural
your
racism.
argument of Jesus calling the woman a dog is invalid because the text
No, it's not
says-
invalid.
Because
It's
the
still
text
cultural
says-
racism.
The text
Carry on,
says-
carry on.
The text
You can do the
says
exegesis later.
He did not say to the woman, you're a dog. He said, it's not good to take the bread out of the children and throw it to the dogs.
And who are the dogs there?
Okay,
Who are the dogs there?
let's continue reading.
It's her, of
Let's
course.
continue reading.
We know whom he's referring to. The Gentiles.
So, and then it says, yes, Lord. She keeps on calling him Lord.
Because she considered him as a master. Yeah.
Okay. But she considered him master even before he called her.
Because she
According
trusted
to
him.
you, okay.
And I'm surprised somebody who calls Jesus with such respect as the Lord, as the master.
Okay.
And guess what Jesus does? Calls her and refers to her
Okay,
as a dog.
now let's continue. But
That's
we
the
already,
inverse.
we already agreed that he was not inferring directly to her.
Of course he was. Come on.
He didn't call her directly.
It was her.
Now it
Yes,
says,
sir.
okay,
He implied
so-
the dog to her.
So,
So do not get away from that
she
point.
called him again
Yeah,
and she
Lord.
said, yes, Lord,
Yeah.
yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the masters.
Yes. And then what he said?
Okay? Then Jesus answered her, oh woman, great is your faith.
Absolutely.
Be it done for you as you desire. And her daughter was healed instantly.
So great is her faith.
So,
In what?
Yes. So the Bible doesn't say whether or not the woman turned Christian or turned
Look, you wouldn't have a Christian
Israelite.
2,000 years ago. We know that.
So-
There were no
so
Christians
you-
2,000 years
okay,
ago. So did he have faith in him, in the Lord?
Let me just correct you. 2,000 years ago, there was the beginning of Christianity.
No. That was later on.
Okay,
They were
so-
termed as Christians.
So Jesus answered, "Oh woman,
Yeah, Zachariah did. Yeah.
did you see that?
Yes. No, 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
Did you see that?
Yes.
So it says, Jesus said to her, "Oh woman." He didn't say, "Oh dog," right? He said, "Oh woman."
Oh, so who was the dogs earlier?
No.
Who were the dogs earlier? Look, did you see
You
that?
asked me a question.
Did you see that?
And I'm answering your question.
Yes.
Okay, so Jesus said to the woman,
Yeah.
"Oh woman, great is your
Your
faith."
faith, yes.
He didn't mention Jews, Gentiles, nothing. He only commanded her for her faith. But the moral of this story, if you wanted to put a moral, is
Yeah.
he healed her daughter. Why? Because he praised her for her faith.
Of course he did. After calling her a dog.
So finally, the Messiah,
Yeah.
the prophet,
Yeah.
the miracle maker,
Yeah.
based on her faith, blessed her.
Yeah. You see,
So-
I like the way he sugarcoated it.
No.
I like the way he sugarcoated it. You missed out the bit where he says calls her a dog.
No,
You didn't like that bit. So
He
what he
didn't
did
call her
was,
dog. He didn't call
look,
her
I
dog.
let you talk a long
He
time.
made
It's only fair you let me talk
made
now.
An analogy is not good. Look, this is my daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my daughter. If I had a sandwich, I would not. It's not fair, he said, to take the bread out of the children and throw it to the dogs. That's what he said. He never said, "You woman are a dog."
Let me ask you this.
That's your own words.
Let me ask you this. He says, I do not take the bread of the children
Yes.
and cast it to the dogs.
Yes.
Who are the children?
That was an analogy.
Who are the children?
According to the text,
Yes.
he was sent to the house of Israel, so the children were the house of Israel.
Which is the Jews, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
And who are the dogs?
Everybody else that was not a Jew.
Including her, right?
Everybody else. that was
Including
not-
her, right?
Everybody else. that was
Including
not-
her. Why did he say yes?
Yes.
Good. So we agree.
Absolutely, yes.
She was referring her to a dog indirectly.
Us as
Thank
well.
you very much.
Me as well.
Yeah, we're dogs.
Anybody that is a Gentile.
By the way, no, that's fine. That's
Now-
fine. Look, we have agreed that cultural racism did exist in the time of Jesus, and Jesus, instead of correcting that cultural racism, he indulges in it. And this is what I find
That's
kind
your
of...
own
Look,
definition.
you're
That's your
you're
own
interrupting
definition.
while I'm talking?
That's
I
your own
listened to you
definition.
when you were
No,
talking.
because what you're
And
doing
earlier
right
you were
what you're
teaching,
doing right
advising
now is
earlier.
you're speaking to the camera saying, this is what we agree. I didn't agree.
You can
with
come back
you.
on that, no problem.
I did
I didn't
not
tell
agree
you.
with
I didn't say you did. I said this is what I believe
Okay.
that Jesus, at that time, instead of correcting the Jews of that time, who were culturally racist, they called them basically untouchables, unclean, uncircumcised, dogs and swines. And these were the terminology used in the Bible by Jesus himself.
Okay.
So it goes, you know what it reminds me of? With all due respect, I don't know if you know much about the Indian culture. Because in
can we
India,
not change the topic?
no, it's not
Can I-
changing the
can I
topic.
give my-
I'm telling you.
Can I give
I'm
my
giving you-
final comment?
Yeah, after this you can.
Okay.
So in India, there's actually something called the caste system, which you'll find in the Vedas as well. Now this caste system, it has basically a hierarchy within the culture. So based on which family they're born in. For example, if you're born in a Brahmin family, you will be treated as the elite class, and the other elite class is the Kshatriya. If you're born in a warrior class, and then you have the working class, and then you have basically at the bottom of the caste system, the Shudras or the untouchables. Now you see, this is a cultural norm at that time in which they lived, and this is what those people who were considered to be the at the bottom of that cultural caste system, they accepted their fate. The fate that they are the bottom, they are untouchables. So for example, if a Brahmin even touches that person who's untouchable, the Kshatriya, he has to go and bathe, take a bath in the Ganges or whatever it is to clean himself, because they were considered unclean. Just like the Jewish people considered at that time, in Jesus' time, they considered the Gentiles as unclean and uncircumcised, and dogs and swines. These people also considered them in a similar fashion, untouchables. And this is what I'm saying. This
This is
cultural,
what you're saying, yeah?
this cultural bias,
This is
this
what you're
cultural
saying, yeah?
racism
Okay.
sounds very similar. And you cannot say
Are
that
you
2,000 years ago that was
Are
okay.
you going to finish your comments?
Yes, I am.
Because
I finished. Carry on.
This is your closing statement. Okay.
Well, I didn't want
Okay.
to finish, but if you want to, you can.
Yes, I think we need to move on because
Yeah.
you already came to a conclusion, and I have come to. My
You have your
conclusion.
conclusion? I have
Yeah,
mine. That's fine,
absolutely.
no problem
So
at all.
let me just make sure that we understand each other.
Yeah, go
What
on.
you just said is what I believe,
Yeah.
and you just went on and said everything that you just said right now. Okay. What I believe is that the Bible is saying that Jesus was not a racist. That's your terminology. That Jesus did not call the woman directly a dog. That's your own understanding.
By inference.
Jesus used an analogy to show something.
To show who are the dogs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The woman did not get offended by Jesus' comments.
I find that wrong.
Okay.
Hard to believe. But
Well,
carry on.
that's your belief. My belief is that the woman did not get offended
Yes.
because she called him Lord first, and she called him Lord later.
Yeah.
daughter's dying.
And
Desperation.
And
She couldn't be offended.
She would call him a god if you had to.
the desperation was for her.
Of course for her.
The desperation was for her daughter.
Yeah, but are you saying a mother is not related? For example, if
That's
your
not what
daughter
I'm
was
saying.
hurt, are you saying you
That's
will
not
not be
what I'm saying.
worried about her?
Would you
Please.
allow me to finish my...
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so my belief is that Jesus being the Messiah,
Yeah.
like you also agree, being a good, righteous, moral man, would not offend or in a way be racist against people, and he even praised her for her faith to the point that he even performed a miracle for her, having pity on her.
After
Right?
calling her a dog, you're
Okay,
right. Yeah.
Okay, so my last part in my last comment is
Yeah.
the following. Why did the woman go to Jesus calling him Lord? The word Lord is the word master.
Yeah.
But it's not just master.
What is
it's
it?
owner.
Oh no.
Somebody that owns you.
Okay.
It's the Greek word kurios,
Right.
which means you are who has possession of me. She accepted Jesus as the one who had authority over her.
Right. And this is how she imagined it?
She
Is that how
submitted,
she imagined Jesus?
she submitted to Jesus. She submitted to Jesus. She bowed down. She kneeled her knee and she cried for help. And he
And
had-
after that,
and he
after
had
all that,
mercy.
he still calls her a dog.
No.
Can you
And
believe
after
it?
That, and after that, he had
Yeah.
mercy. on
Eventually,
her.
after calling her a dog,
Okay,
eventually
so you're
he cures her.
interrupting. You're interrupting my final comment again. So
Just like you did.
finally,
You know how it feels now.
finally, finally he blessed her.
Yeah.
He
healed her,
performed a miracle.
Yeah.
He loved the woman, and he praised her.
I don't think he loved the woman.
He praised her for her faith.
I don't think he says he loved her.
Okay. The reason why.
Stop
that
adding
woman-
bits.
Okay. The reason why. The question that I want to leave with you is why that woman came to Jesus and kneeled down before him.
I think I already answered that.
Desperation?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, you might call it
Absolutely.
desperation. You might call
What
it
would you do?
desperation.
What would you do in that situation?
You might call it desperation. In my understanding, according to your point of view, Jesus was just a prophet. There were many teachers, there were many doctors at the time, but yet she went to Jesus, implored for a miracle, and bowed down before him. She was surrendering her life to him, acknowledging.
You know what?
Acknowledging
The way
like
you're
said-
exaggerating now
Acknowledging
is
like
because,
you said,
is because
that she was
Jesus.
the only one who could help her.
You know what? Trust me. If this wasn't Jesus,
This was your
you wouldn't be
friend's
having
Bible.
such a lengthy conversation
Oh, of
to
course
defend
I
Jesus
would.
calling someone a dog.
Look, I don't need
You
to,
would just
I
tell
don't
me,
need
no,
to
that guy is a
defend-
racist.
I don't need to
He's a
defend
dog.
Jesus. I don't need to defend
Actually,
Jesus.
you are defending
You need
Jesus.
to learn the Bible in its context
You
and
do.
understand what the Bible says.
Okay.
What you're trying to do is you're
You know-
trying to understand the Bible in today's context from your point of view.
Isn't that what Jesus? Isn't that what the
That is
Christians
not-
do?
No, of course
No?
not.
Shall I tell you why they do that? Because in the
That's a different conversation.
No,
what,
that's
what
fine.
we need to do when we take a Bible text is read it in its context. It's reading, understanding what's the
So you wouldn't-
mentality of
so
the
you would
time
consider
in
that-
the same
look,
way
look,
as you read the
Look,
Quran.
you would
Exactly
you
the
would
same way.
consider the Trinity wrong because at that time in
That's
the
a
context
completely different
of those
topic.
people, of those
That's a
Jewish people,
completely different
they believed in a one God.
Here.
Yes, is that right?
This is your Bible.
Yeah, it's my Bible.
Well, this is your friend's Bible. I had a good time
Yes.
having a conversation with you.
And
Thank you very much.
know what?
for
I
your
want you
time.
to be consistent. When you say that
Oh,
2,000 years
you were
ago,
gonna give me your details so I could send you the information.
Yeah, 2,000 years ago, no one believed in the Trinity, and this is what you Christians have to remain consistent about.
Okay. The word Trinity is not even in the
The
Bible.
concept,
so
even.
let's not talk
Even the
about it.
concept.
Let's not talk about
When he
it.
says Shema
Okay.
in Deuteronomy 6:4, that is not mentioning the three in one God.
Okay.
So I think you should remain consistent and believe what happened 2,000 years
That's
ago.
a different topic.
Of course
That's
it
a
was.
different topic.
Would you like
so
to discuss that?
We can discuss that another time.
Why? Okay, no problem.
Okay?
Okay, I'll give him the details. That's
Okay.
fine.